Worse than Cairo.
Cairo. Cairo is a day at the beach next to this.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special edition of the Hacking Humans podcast. This is an occasional series we call Hacking Humans Goes to the Movies. I'm Dave Bittner from the CyberWire, and joining me is my Hacking Humans co-host, Joe Carrigan from the Johns Hopkins University Information Security Institute. Hello, Joe.
Hi, Dave.
On this show, Joe and I look at clips from some of our favorite movies, clips which demonstrate some of the scams and schemes we talk about on the Hacking Humans podcast. And joining us once again this week is our colleague Rick Howard. He is the CyberWire's Chief Security Officer and Chief Analyst. Hello, Rick.
Hey guys, I have my hot tamales and my giant big gulp Diet Coke. I am ready to go.
Hot tamales are awesome. They're one of my favorite candies.
We got some fun clips to share, so stay tuned. We'll be right back after this message from our show sponsor. Keeper is the top-rated cybersecurity platform for protecting organizations of all sizes from the most common password-related data breaches and cyber attacks. Did you know 81% of data breaches are caused by weak password security? Keeper is more than a password manager. It's a scalable and customizable security platform that includes industry-leading features such as automated user provisioning, role-based enforcement policies, SSO SAML integration, advanced reporting compliance, breach watch dark web monitoring, and more. Members of the CyberWire community will receive a free 3-year personal password manager when they take a business demo. Visit keeper.io/cyberwire to learn more. And we thank Keeper for sponsoring our show. All right, let's get rolling here with our clips. Joe, you're going to lead things off for us this week. What do you have to share with us this week?
Dave, my clip comes from The Hustle, which was a 2019 movie that was a remake of Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, which itself was a remake of another movie from, I think, the 70s. But
Can we have an original movie? Do we have to keep watching the same one over and over?
No,
that's a great.
Not anymore.
No, not as long as the guys in Hollywood go, you mean I don't have to pay anybody to write this and I can make $1 million? I'll do it. Yeah. That's the issue here. So, you know, the solution is stop going to remake movies. That's the solution. Then they'll have to come up with new stories, but we'll never do that. Anyway, this stars Anne Hathaway and Rebel Wilson in this remake. And my scene is from a scene in a casino where Anne Hathaway is sitting at a bar. And she is dressed in a sequin dress, I guess you'd say. And she is approached by a stranger. So she's in a bar in a casino. This well-dressed guy walks in.
How much are the red ones worth?
1,000.
And the blue ones?
5,000.
I love that game with the wheel and the ball and the numbers. I don't even really know how to play.
Hello. She's talking about the chips in front of her.
Hello.
My name is Matthias Albrecht von Rüdiger, der Kleinsorgen Hindenburger Zoor. And you are?
Janet.
Janet. What an enchanting name. You're American, yes?
Yes.
I'm Danish.
Like the pastry?
Yeah.
I like the pastry.
An airplane.
Yes, and why are you here?
Oh, well, I thought I would treat myself. I just won some money in the lottery.
Wow. How much did you win?
$87 million.
Hold nu kæft, det er mange penge.
I'm sorry, I don't speak foreign.
Janet, I have something in my pants that I think you're going to like.
Ew.
No. This.
Oh.
And he pulls out a bracelet.
This belongs to my dear mama. Yeah?
Yes.
Sadly, I have to sell it because it reminds me too much of her.
Is it valuable?
It's very valuable, yes. $500,000.
I like it because it's shiny.
And you're in luck. It's for sale.
That's crazy. Do I have enough here? How much is this worth?
That is a coaster. And sadly, no, you don't. But maybe you could pay the difference in another way.
I have a 9 o'clock.
His hand on Anne Hathaway's knee. And she's,
Why?
Well, I have my reputation to think of.
As do I.
I have a boyfriend.
As do I.
Freeze. Inspector Desjardins of Beaumont-sur-Mer Police. Get
now
up.
somebody has
Okay. Who sent you?
walked
My
up.
wife? Do you take bribes?
Not you. Her. She is under arrest.
What?
Those chips were stolen from this pathetic old man. This woman is an international con artist.
No. She's just a dumb American.
No, it's true. She lured this man with the promise of a private performance of her college gymnastics routine. Here.
So she hands the chips to the old man
Now,
that just
give back
walked
the
up with the
bracelet.
inspector. Now, here is she puts the bracelet in her hand, flips it from one hand to the next, and hands the guy back the bracelet, and is being escorted out of the bar by the inspector.
It would take
Now she holds up the actual bracelet.
Oh, his wife. Thank you, Albert, for everything. Excellent research, Brigitte. The mark was perfect.
As you always say.
You can't cheat.
She's
an
doling
honest
out money
man.
now to the
No. Have a
inspector
buyer
and the
insurance,
old
so
man.
I'll see you in a few days. Au revoir.
And she's walking out of the casino with the bracelet in hand. So it's a simple scam where she is baiting somebody in, pretending to be very naive, asking questions loudly at the bar. What are these things worth? I like the game with the wheel and the little ball. Everybody knows that's roulette, right? And gets this guy to approach her and put the bracelet on her arm. Now, I will tell you this. My wife, we were talking about this before, how much of a socially astute person she is. She is also a very good salesperson, and she sold jewelry. And one of the things that she would tell me is when you're selling jewelry, you keep handing the jewelry to the people that you're trying to sell it to. You keep putting it on their finger, putting it on their wrist, right? If it's a bracelet, obviously you don't put a ring on someone's wrist. But anyway, she would say, keep them touching it, which is what this guy is trying to do with Anne Hathaway here. Then while Anne Hathaway has the bracelet on, the person, the inspector, the fake inspector and the fake victim come up and they escort Anne Hathaway out after she does a little palming of the bracelet and replacing it with a fake. So it requires there's a little bit of research that went into it. She had to know what the bracelet was going to look like so she could make a fake. And then it's apparently a very good fake, so he won't even notice it, and maybe his wife will notice it at some point in time.
Now, do we think that the guy who came up with the bracelet originally was also a scammer? Was she scamming a scammer?
I think he was just trying to have an interlude with her, if you would.
Oh, I see.
And maybe take the money. I don't know.
I think he is a scammer, but he's not on the same level as Anne Hathaway. He's,
right.
I would put him in the amateur category.
Because I guess they seem to think that the bracelet has value, has legitimate value. It's not some piece of costume jewelry or anything.
Right.
Right.
Or they wouldn't steal it.
Right.
Yeah, Anne Hathaway is the Michael Caine character in this movie.
I see.
So she is the really advanced, super good and smooth and well-refined con artist in this movie.
I see. And so the inspectors are in on it. The fake police are in on it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
What I liked about this is, first of all, I'm a huge fan of Anne Hathaway. Okay, I think she's fabulous, right?
Yeah, I like Anne Hathaway too.
And the way she handles this, we were talking before the show started that the bad guy here who's trying to scam her assumes that women are not that smart.
Right.
And Anne Hathaway plays into that. Like 5 or 6 one-liners in that one. They're all comedy, right? But it's like, is that the pastry, from the Danish guy, and and here's the coaster that she thought was chips from the, and just one after the other that.
What brought you here? An airplane.
Yeah, an airplane. Is that a great line or what? All right. And she looks so innocent doing all that, and so the guy comes up and tries to take advantage of her. So I really like that part.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a good scene in an okay movie.
Oh, is that right?
I would debate you there. This is not a great movie.
Okay. Well, I was being kind, Rick.
I always wonder when people try to remake great movies, because I think Dirty Rotten Scoundrels is a great movie.
Yeah, it is.
So why? What are you trying to prove here?
What are you bringing to the table here?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I put this movie in the same bucket as other movies we've seen during the pandemic where, big time celebrity actors go off to exotic locations and make really dumb movies, but it's their chance to have a vacation and get paid, right? So
it was remarkably profitable. So you're going to see more like this.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, that's certainly a fun scam. I have the other clip this week, and my clip is from the 1994 action comedy film True Lies.
Oh, I love
This is one of my favorite movies ever.
It's
good one.
I mean, it's not a great, it's a fun movie.
Fun movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fun.
So this movie stars Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jamie Lee Curtis. I would say both of them at the peak of their powers.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
This movie,
Yeah.
directed by James Cameron, also at the peak of his powers.
Uh-huh.
And in this movie, Arnold and Jamie Lee play a married couple whose relationship is a bit in the doldrums. Jamie Lee's character is named Helen. She's a legal secretary in Washington, D.C., and she thinks that her husband, Harry, who's played by Schwarzenegger, is just a mild-mannered salesman. But in fact, he is a secret government agent.
A super
James
spy
Bond kind of guy. Yeah.
Yeah. He's sort of, he's a U.S. James Bond.
Right.
Now, there's a scene early on in the movie where Helen is having lunch alone in a nondescript restaurant, kind of a dive sort of place. And we see this character who's played by Bill Paxton.
Who
the
I
late
love.
great Bill Paxton.
Bill
Come
Paxton
on.
was one of the most underrated actors in his lifetime. He was really good.
Really, I mean, his aliens. Come on.
Yeah, that
come
was
on.
awesome.
Game over, man. Game over.
Game over.
So Bill Paxton plays this character. We later find out his name is Simon, and we see him sizing her up. And he rushes over to her table, breathless. He puts down a briefcase, and he tells her it's a matter of national security and life and death for her to protect the briefcase. And he runs off. And she's flustered by this. She's not sure what to make of it. She takes the briefcase and she opens it, and inside she finds plane tickets for a foreign country, money from several different countries, currency, passports. So she believes that Simon is a secret agent. Now, later, as the movie goes on, we discover that Simon is not a secret agent. He's actually a slimy used car salesman. And he's
Wait, is that
spinning this
redundant?
tale.
Is that
Yeah.
redundant?
Well,
Yeah.
he's spinning this tale with Helen to try to romance her. So the scene I'm sharing today, this is a scene where they meet later. They're in another sort of divey restaurant, and he is continuing to take her down this pathway to try to bring some excitement into this poor lonely woman's life. So this scene starts off. We're in that same sort of dive restaurant. Looks like a Chinese restaurant, something like that. Nothing fancy about this place at all. This is a place where you grab a quick lunch, that sort of place. And
Wood paneling
Helen
on the side.
Yeah, Helen is walking into the restaurant, and Simon, the Bill Paxton character, is already seated there.
You sure you weren't followed?
No, I mean, I kept looking behind me like you taught me, but I didn't send you.
Okay, it's just
Like
things
you
are
taught
really
me.
hot right now. If I get a signal, I may have to leave suddenly.
I understand.
I love how he lowers his voice
my
into
job
that
to take
lush,
risks, but not yours.
secret agent voice.
I feel bad about bringing you into all this, but you're the only one I
It's
can
Tom
trust.
Arnold too. Probably at his best performance as well.
Were you out on a
True.
mission?
Yeah.
We say covert operation, and this one will. Got a little rough.
Worse than Cairo?
Cairo. Cairo was a day at the beach next to this.
It's
The
really
guy's a spook.
so. Arnold and
He could be working hard to get to you.
his partner are listening in on
Did you
this
read the
from
papers
outside.
yesterday?
Yes.
Sometimes a story is a mask for a covert operation. See 2 men killed in a restroom and 2 unidentified men in a running shootout ending at the Marriott.
That was you.
You see, you're very good. You recognize my style. You're a natural at this.
The guy's a fake, man. He's taking credit for our moves.
What happened?
Hardly worth talking about. 2 of them won't bother me again.
Unbelievable.
You chased one.
Something came over me. I just had to nail this guy, no matter what the risk. Pretty hairy. I thought he had me a couple of times, but I really can't take credit.
Well, why not?
It's the training. It shapes you into a lethal instrument. You react in a microsecond without thinking.
I'm starting to like this guy. Oh, we still got to kill him. I mean, that's a given.
We still got to kill him.
Right. That is, I can't think of anything that Tom Arnold did where he had a better performance than this.
This is what McHale's Navy is not his best performance. I don't know. Okay.
No, I mean, I'm with Joe. I think this part was perfect for Tom Arnold as sort of the sidekick to the guy who is in the van while Arnold is out doing all of the action adventure kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he was really, really good in this movie.
Yeah,
I mean, everybody was good in this movie. This is. I said earlier that this may not have been. I mean, this may not be like go down in recorded history as like one of the greatest movies, like Ben-Hur or something like that. But this is probably one of the best movies ever made in terms of just how enjoyable it is to watch. I could sit down. I've seen this movie probably 20 times. I could sit down and watch it again and still enjoy it. It's a good movie.
A lot of rewatchable scenes.
Yeah,
like this one.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. So what do we make of this? Let's unpack here exactly what Simon, our Bill Paxton character, is doing here to Helen.
Here's my take, all right? When I first saw this, I was saying, man, this guy's going to a lot of trouble to seduce, a woman. And I said, that's probably, not very likely. And then, it's Jamie Lee Curtis, my all-time woman crush, right? So maybe that all those things he did is worth it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, later in the movie, she has a little scene where she does some dancing, and I think bolsters your point of view there, Rick.
Yeah, totally. It's the reason to watch the movie.
Yeah, that's right. That's a great scene. I mean, even in this scene, they've made Jamie Lee Curtis look a little frumpy, and even though she's looking frumpy, she's still a gorgeous woman. And I've always been a fan of her. Same thing with Rick. She's always been one of the. I've always been a big fan of Jamie Lee Curtis.
I prefer her Knives. Is it Knives White Out? What is that movie with
Knives Out?
Knives Out.
Yeah.
That version of Jamie Lee Curtis. That's right in my wheelhouse.
I haven't seen that one yet. I do want to see it though because there's a bunch of people in that movie I like. I haven't seen that one. But here we see, what's interesting in this is that there is this is just a ploy, a low level ploy, like from the Dirty Rotten Scoundrels that we talk about before. It's the guy that's just trying to get, he's actually just trying to get Jamie Lee Curtis's character in bed, right? It's just Bill Paxton trying to hook up with a bored housewife.
Right.
And later in the movie, there's an interaction between Bill Paxton and Arnold Schwarzenegger where Bill Paxton is saying, like, I do this all the time. I do this to hundreds of women all the time. He's bragging about it.
Right.
But, what's interesting is there's a lot of stuff in here that's kind of would be applicable to other romance scams, the international man of mystery kind of thing. This is a comedic representation of it, but it still has a lot of basis in reality. You get somebody who's bored and lonely, maybe in a marriage that's falling apart, and they become a prime opportunity or a prime target of opportunity for a scam like this.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is my clip for this week. I think we're all in unanimous agreement that True Lies is a lot of fun. If you have not seen this film,
you are missing out.
It's worth checking out. It has good action, good comedy, perfectly cast film as far as I'm concerned.
And gentlemen, all I can say to you is Cairo.
Okay. Cairo was a walk in the park.
He really pours it on, doesn't he? Bill Paxton is great in this. He's really great. All right. Well, those are our clips. We will have links to those. So the YouTube clips, if you want to check that out and watch along with us. We want to thank our sponsor, Keeper Security, for helping make this episode possible. Cybersecurity starts with password security. Password security starts with Keeper. That is our show. We want to thank all of you for joining us. We want to thank the Johns Hopkins University Information Security Institute for their participation. You can learn more at isi.jhu.edu. The Hacking Humans podcast is proudly produced in Maryland at the startup studios of Data Tribe, where they're co-building the next generation of cybersecurity teams and technologies. Our senior producer is Jennifer Iben. Our executive editor is Peter Kilpie. I'm Dave Bittner.
I'm Joe Carrigan.
And I'm Rick Howard.
Thanks for listening.